Caitlyn Clark is finally back again, and it didn't take long to already break records.
16 assists.
Cunningham off to Clark. Right wing three is good. Flings it out. Clark a deep three. You bet.
298 days since her last regular season game, and tonight, Caitlyn Clark was facing Dallas again, the same team that ended her preseason 9 days ago. And from the jump, you could feel it. This game was going to be different.
Superstitions and wear them.
Clark lays it in. Caitlyn Clark's first points of 2026.
And one thing was for sure, Caitlyn wasn't done. Straight out of transition, and the first dime came soon after.
From Jessica Shepard as Clark drops a dime in the lap of Hines Allen.
But Dallas came with the hands early too, just like preseason. But luckily, she drew the contact and got to the line.
As well.
Clark, using that speed, gets fouled on the drive.
The contact was something she had to be careful of at any moment, and Caitlyn already knew it was coming. 2 free throws later, the heavy contact still wasn't stopping. Dallas picked her up full court, and it knocked Clark right out of her rhythm.
Here's Clark. Good handle, step back three, short.
Dallas was up 25-21, and you could feel it. They was outplaying Indiana on every possession. When the lineup changed, the lead kept growing. Not much later, her teammate got the same heavy treatment at the rim as Caitlyn, right after she tried to connect the dots.
Shovels underneath, Johnson gets fouled, and Raven Johnson will go to the line to shoot 2.
Dallas was all about the physicality and the sharpness, and it paid off, because not much later, they caught her bringing the ball up the floor.
Rebound. Oh, Sims takes it away from Clark. Odyssey Sims will lay it in on the other end.
But the physicality had a limit. When she brought the ball up again, Dallas got too handsy, and luckily, the refs finally called it.
Clark guarded by Sims, and the foul is called. Indiana in the bonus.
And by now, it was already clear. Dallas was doing everything again to keep her out of rhythm. Just look how happy they were after fouling her. But that didn't stop her from playing with confidence, even when the shots weren't falling.
With 4, Clark will fire. Back iron and off.
With all that heavy focus on her, the Fever knew they had to switch it up in the second quarter. She attacked the rim, drew 2 defenders, and left the corner wide open. Her vision didn't miss it.
2 into the corner. Cunningham connects on the 3.
And not much later, she drew 2 defenders again, and found Boston on the arc this time.
Pocket pass back. Boston. She got it.
She was throwing the dimes around like she had eyes everywhere, but her own 3 was still finding its rhythm, and the crowd couldn't wait until it did.
Behind Timpson. Guarded by Bueckers, step back 3, way off.
So she went back to basics, brought it up the floor, and gave Dallas no time to think.
Clark driving it all the way down for the easy lay.
And the connection with Boston was getting warm again. A quick pick and pop, and the Fever were fighting.
Clark looking into Boston. What a feed, and Boston lays it in.
But Dallas saw the momentum and decided to put a dent in it. They got in close, baited her into an offensive foul with a flop, and it worked.
Dallas also with their own first-round pick, as well as the Aces next year, as Clark gets called for the foul, and just too obvious a push.
That was the end of the half. Dallas walked off with a slight lead, and this was the game the crowd had been waiting on all this time. But what they'd been waiting on even longer was coming in the second half. All that heat boiling up, left on the arc, and she made them pay.
Cunningham off to Clark. Right wing 3 is good. There's the...
Her first 3 of 2026. And it didn't take long for the second. She was left wide open again, this time from deep. And there was no hesitation.
Clark a deep 3. You bet. And a whirl.
The crowd was loving every second of it. She was getting in rhythm again, and the world was watching it unfold. But the job wasn't finished. The game wasn't over yet, and Dallas went right back to the fouls. Anything to stop the rhythm.
Going back to work, draws the whistle.
Smith already had 4 fouls against her. Did that stop the rhythm? Well, just watch.
She is, how great she is off the ball. Clark behind the back, oh my! A nifty dime from Caitlyn Clark as Hines Allen finishes.
That's how you hype a crowd. But she only had one thing on her mind, the win. She even tried to calm them down. But what she did next, it did the opposite.
Clark the rebound, pushing pace for Indiana. Clark trying to go all the way in, reverses it home.
And she realized the hype was only going to benefit the Fever more. Same red on the next play, drew the two, found Boston rolling. Perfect.
Boston on the roll, lays it in. That two-man action is just so dynamic.
And the Fever were climbing back in this game 1 point at a time, feeding off the momentum and the crowd.
Boston the steal. Here comes Boston. Mitchell the shovel. Timpson, it's tied.
The game was tied, but that wasn't the only thing Caitlyn Clark was chasing tonight. She was closing in on a historic record, one that had never been done before in the WNBA. But before any of that, she was busy breaking ankles on every Dallas defender that tried to slow her down.
Boston off to Clark. Clark, open three.
However, it almost didn't happen. In the middle of the third quarter, Caitlyn Clark disappeared. She walked into the locker room and everyone feared the worst. Luckily, she came back and she showed no signs of slowing down, back to breaking ankles, leaving every defender dizzy.
The screen, Clark evades. 3 seconds, Clark, the spin and the lay. Looking healthy on that finish.
A play every basketball fan could enjoy watching. The game was tight again, and it was going to come down to the wire. But Dallas had a plan too. Get her out of her rhythm by baiting anything and everything.
Played a big role off the bench as well.
Yeah, quality players coming in off the bench.
A Dallas defender walked right into her path to bait an offensive foul. The Fever tried to challenge it, but it didn't go their way. And the very next play, Dallas got back on the heavy defense. And for a moment, all the momentum they'd built in the third looked completely gone.
Play on her, Clark fading, left it short.
But she made sure it wasn't. Straight out of transition, she was unstoppable.
Clark with haste through the lane will lay it in.
And right after, she kept the tempo high with a dime to Boston, who was already waiting.
Descended an 8-0 Dallas run. Boston the deep seal and the finish.
So Dallas went back to their tricks, trying to bait something. But this time, the refs gave it in her favor.
Clark around James. Gets back on her, Clark. And that's going to be a blocking foul on James.
A blocking foul, with some heavy reach-ins right before that. Because sometimes it isn't just about one play, it's about wearing her down with the constant close contact and making her miss a beat that way.
Lead on Indiana. Season opener. Clark working into the paint.
And that worked. Not once, but twice.
Clark separating, taking.
Without all that energy drained from her before, she might have made those shots. The score said it all. 1 minute left, a 3-point deficit, and it was now or never. So she took the reins, drove at the rim, and found Mitchell free in the corner.
Clark racing up the floor. Mitchell open for three.
But Mitchell missed, and all hope seemed lost. But again, she didn't ponder.
And Clark trying to take it away.
She almost got the steal and the bucket to go with it, but the refs called a jump ball. After 2 plays from both sides, it was still a 3-point game to tie, and with only 13 seconds left, there was only one player who was going to take that last shot. She brought it up, and she let it fly from deep.
Clark, a 3 to tie! No! Can't hit! Loose ball! Dallas has it! Bueckers fouled with 1.6 to go!
It could have been a night not to forget, but it's still on our minds, because even though the Fever didn't come out with the win, she broke Diana Taurasi's all-time league record, fastest player ever to 1,000 points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists in 54 games, 8 fewer than the legend, ending the night with 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. But most importantly, she came out of this one without an injury. This season is going to be special. See you on the next one.